Now I've been looking at different ways to put the edging on the carpet. The first attempt is to do it the way I did for the firewall. So just a simple stitch along there, then a fold over, and then tuck that under the carpet and then sew across the face of the carpet there. That's what I did on the firewall, but I thought because of the amount of edging that's exposed, and just looking along the side of the carpet here, this is where the door is, so most of this can be seen. I've decided to look at a different way to do the edging. Now I've seen this done on the internet. It's more involved in terms of the number of times you've got to run the stitching. You know, the first stitching is along the very edge, and then the second stitch is further back. This works out to be about 14-15 mil in from the edge. That's where it folds down like that. The final stitch is actually along the edge of the fold there. It's actually along the carpet. Now I haven't done that yet. I want to see how that looks, but the difference basically is that you won't have it's very hard to hold the camera and work with one hand, but basically you won't have a stitch visible on the vinyl edge. So I thought that might be a neater way, as I say, particularly seeing that this is seen when you open the door, very exposed, and so is the area around the transmission tunnel. That's also very exposed. So I've got the first couple of stitches on this main side. Now I'm going to make a join halfway across the carpet there. That's not a problem, but I'm just going to try now. I'll try it up on this section here and see if I can actually stitch that. Now the answer is yes, you can stitch it, but it's whether I can stitch it on the machine. Now already I have difficulty regulating the speed of the machine, and when I'm trying to do a very fine stitch along the edge, the machine can get away from you and all of a sudden you're off track. So I ended up just doing all of this by turning the machine by hand. Takes far longer, but at least I can control where the stitch is going as I go. But I'll probably end up doing the same when I put the final stitch along the edge there. And the reason for that is I actually don't want the stitching to be going through the vinyl. It will go through the carpet, and because there's quite a width of vinyl here, it will pick up the vinyl underneath the carpet and sew it in place. Anyway, I'm about to trial it. Once again, I'll turn the machine by hand so I've got control, and just see if I can run that stitch in. Now I was able to sew this in quite well. The result, a little bit of creasing around the curve, not too worried about that. I mean, you can notice if you look at it, but once again that's somewhere near the accelerator pedal. But the edging is quite neat. You can't see any of the stitching. The stitching is actually run right along in the edge there. Doesn't go through the vinyl, it goes through the carpet and then into the wide vinyl on the back. So I think this way of doing it is quite neat, and with the amount of work I had to put into it, it wasn't too bad. I was actually able to get around the curve. The end result though, I think from the top side is very good. Now as a result of that, where I'd started putting the edging around the seat runner area, I actually pulled those off, and I'll do them the same way as this. So what I'm about to do now is I'll start up here, which is halfway across the footwell, and then I'll attempt to go round down past the opening for the transmission and back up the other side and end up halfway across the passenger side. I'll just now measure the length of that. The difficulties of this one, of course, I know I've got a curve there, well I can do that, so I did that on this side. This is an inside curve. Be interested to see how that goes. No doubt it will crease a bit, but hopefully not too bad. So anyway, first thing, measure the length, and then I'll start trimming off the carpet as I've done along the top here already. I haven't done down here. You've actually got to trim the excess carpet so none of it actually can be pulled out, and actually put the scissors on a bit of an angle so you're taking a little bit off the top edge there. So I'll do that next, and once I've measured it out, cut it out, then I'll start stitching. As I said before, I'm using the machine, but I'm turning the machine by hand. It seems to be, at least for me anyway, a lot more control over what you're doing. Now this is an incredibly slow process. I'm working from the passenger side, which is over there, halfway across the footwell and in around the transmission tunnel. But what I've got to do is manipulate the whole carpet. So I've got it folded over and wrapped around everything, and getting in around the transmission tunnel is becoming a very tight squeeze. The carpet is always in the way. So at this stage I've been able to get it flat while I'm going across the front of the transmission tunnel. When I come up to here, then I've got to go across this section, and this is extremely difficult. I really am short of room when I'm trying to do it. What I've had to do on the other side is that I've actually put a slit in the vinyl and then overlapped it onto itself, and then tried to swing the whole piece around and then sew it in place. It really means that manually is the only way I can do it, and what I'm doing is holding the cut vinyl with this is just a thread cutter, got a point on the end. I stick it in the vinyl and push it under the needle. So it's very awkward. I'm hoping that it'll turn out, but it's an extremely slow process getting it around this transmission tunnel. It's a lot easier when I'm doing the outside. At least I'm only putting this edge under the machine, not having to try and drag the whole piece of carpet and move pieces out of the way. Anyway, I'll keep going. I'm hoping that it'll turn out alright. This is only the the first stitch, the one right along the edge, then I've got to go back and repeat it all. I don't know how I'm going to get it around this curve, but obviously very slowly. Anyway, I haven't got to that yet. I've just got to get the first lot of stitching in. Trying to get the lighting right inside the car to film is almost as bad as making the carpet. The carpet for the front is finished, not attached of course. I've still got problems with seeing how I'm going to do that. A couple of areas where I've decided I will try and attach it is basically along here somewhere, same on the other side, and notice it's sort of lifting up in here, both sides around the centre slide rail. That is going to be a problem if I don't fix that down, and the reason for that is that you can see the notches along the side there. That's where the seat position adjuster goes, so that's likely to foul the mechanism, so I've got to address that. But at this stage the main aim is to get that carpet down. It turned out okay. I'm happy with that. The difficulties around here, got a few creases in there, but once again the seat is very close to that. I mean, you'd have to, if you can get your head down in there, you would see it, but otherwise it won't be noticed. Now I've got to address the rear, and the rear carpet is twice the size, at least 1.5 the size of the front. I mean, it continues under the front seats, and then you've got the floor area for the rear, and it goes up to the board in front of the rear seat, so it's quite large. It has its complications. Main ones are the seat runners. They've got to be able to go alongside those, so cutting it correctly is going to be a real pain, trying to get everything aligned. So once again I'll do a pattern out of cloth, transfer that to a thin underlay, make adjustments, and then go from there. There are also little cutouts where the B pillar is attached to the body, so that's got to be cut out and positioned correctly. So that is a problem. So you've got those on both sides, and then the shape, of course, it tapers towards the rear. It's got, and I can't position the camera to show, but around the rear seat, around the wheel arch, that's all curved, so it's going to be difficult to get the shape right. So I'll have to spend a lot of time on the pattern. First of all, I'll continue putting the sound deadening in. That's got to go in over the boards, but once again these boards are detachable, so I need to be able to take that into account when I put that down. So yeah, so this is probably more complex than the front. I know it was difficult getting the transmission cover surround done, but this is going to have more problems. So as I say, I'll have to be very careful on the template, because I don't want to ruin the carpet when I start to cut it. I've got enough to do the carpet, but I haven't got enough to do it twice. Anyway, that's done. Getting the edging is a slow process, getting that on. Worse of course where the shape has changed. I haven't put the edging on the front of the seat runners there, or along the edges. I don't think that's necessary at this stage. It's well under the seat. When it's clipped down, it should not be a problem. So the main thing was to get the joins between the carpets correct with a cover over the end of the carpet. But anyway, back to work again. Slow process.